You have just seen a motor vehicle expertly operated in the top range of performance, a demonstration that is a regular part of our pursuit driver training program in Kansas. I am Colonel Hughes, Superintendent of the Kansas Highway Patrol, and here is Mr. Dale Duncan, who, in addition to being an accomplished sports car driver and airline pilot, is a recognized authority as a pursuit driving instructor. In the course of duty, police drivers are frequently required to drive at high speed with road, weather, and traffic situations that call for the utmost skill. Our program has been developed to teach this skill to anyone with normal reflexes and average driving ability on an economical basis, practical for all agencies.
The safety of our officers is a major consideration. If the procedures shown in this motion picture are followed, no one will be placed in a dangerous situation and no vehicle will be exposed to damage.
In training, as well as on active duty, it's important to know your vehicle and to be familiar with its special features and equipment. Like airplane pilots, safety-minded pursuit drivers will make a personal inspection of their vehicles before high-performance maneuvering. This is a Chevrolet Bel Air with the 409 cubic inch engine, power glide, positive traction, high-speed rear axle, and the police package. In addition to heavy-duty springs and shock absorbers, it's equipped with heavy-duty wheels and police special tires. A safety check should be performed by each driver when he assumes responsibility for the vehicle assigned to him, and as often thereafter as necessary. Check that the battery is securely fastened in its mountings and that fan belt tension seems right. Make sure that the throttle linkage is secure and that it can't stick in wide open position. Under the special conditions of maximum performance operation, oil and water levels should be checked several times during the day. After any especially strenuous use, wheels and lug nuts should be checked for tightness. Check tires for cuts, bruises, and correct pressure. This car is equipped with metallic brake linings as an extra safety item. A correct driving position is desirable at all times, but especially in pursuit work. While sitting directly behind the steering wheel, adjust the seat so that you can move the brake pedal all the way comfortably and without stretching your body. Be sure there are no loose objects on the front floor or seat to distract attention or interfere with your driving. The use of seat belts or safety harness should be an invariable habit. A snug fit will keep you from being thrown around during high-speed cornering and braking. Grasp the steering wheel with the hands in the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock position. This will keep the arms from becoming entangled during most turns. On very sharp turns, let the wheel slide through the fingers to regain the 9 and 3 o'clock positions with the hand. Only when you're comfortable and securely attached to your vehicle can you give full attention to your driving. A skid pan provides the first training in basic principles and corresponds to teaching a pilot to control his aircraft in stalls and spins. The entire area is covered with a slippery foam of the type used on airport runways for certain emergency landings. On this slippery surface, the limits of control can be reached or exceeded at slow car speeds and without danger. The foam cuts down the speed at which things happen. It does not change the principle. The length of the straightaway is adjusted so that a pursuit vehicle operating at maximum performance can attain approximately 40 to 60 miles per hour before having to slow down for the turn. The start will be as near flat out as possible without excessive wheel spin. Apply throttle gradually. As the car moves ahead, it should be possible to reach full throttle quickly. This beginner will no doubt supply some examples of common mistakes. First, too fast on the throttle causes wheel spin and fishtail. Ease up on the power. Mistake number 2. In a skid, he takes off power too quickly. The sudden loss of driving force jerks him around in the opposite direction. The smoothness and the sense of feel you develop on the slippery straightaway will help you on any surface. The shortest possible stop is accomplished with maximum braking effort, just short of locking or sliding the wheels. A good straight-ahead stop results when the driver senses the grip of the tires on the slippery surface. Let's get a few basic principles in mind. We all know that control of an automobile depends on the road grip provided by the 4 small areas where the tires touch the road, a little more than 1 square foot altogether. We also know that when we turn the front wheels around the corner, the body and chassis of the car tend to continue in the original direction, and this causes a weight shift to the outside of the turn. At this point, if the vehicle loses traction, it'll slide off the road or spin out. Now let's take a bird's eye look at what to do in a turn. We move up the straightaway at full power as near flat out as possible. Just before the turn, use maximum effective braking, that is, just short of wheel lock. Now, turning the steering wheel sharply to the right literally throws the car into the curve and starts a left-hand slide. Immediately, the steering wheel is turned left, then smoothly corrected to hold the desired amount of slide. Throttle is applied, gradually, but without delay. More power brings you toward the inside of the curve. Less power takes you to the outside. Both steering and power are needed to overcome the tendency of the vehicle to continue straight ahead. In slow motion, it's easy to see what happens when an expert applies maximum performance techniques on the skid pan. Moving the throttle smoothly but quickly to wide open builds up maximum speed. Use maximum effective braking before entering curve. Steer right to start the slide. Left to correct, steer, and add throttle. Then into the left turn, no brakes are needed. Once again, you can see how much steering is needed to enter the slide and to recover from it. At normal speed, notice how vehicle weight shifts to the outside of the curve. Here's another point of view. For maximum performance, there's no delay in going from full throttle to full brake. The results of a student's first attempt to negotiate the turns at maximum performance speeds are not likely to surprise anyone. Well, you really spun that one out. The student's normal error is to be too little and too late with the throttle at the point where the weight of the car shifts to the outer wheels as it tries to continue in its original direction. The result is usually a spin. Another common fault is excessive steering at excessive speed, causing front wheels to plow. When this happens, rear wheels will not break loose as they should, and the car will go off the road. Oversteering on the first turn will cause difficulty in the second turn. To perform the maneuver correctly, advance throttle smoothly. Now full brakes. A sharp turn starts the slide. Smooth power maintains it. Through practice, the student acquires a knowledge of the limits of performance of his vehicle and himself on the training course, rather than on the highway. The coordination, judgment, the smooth technique, and the feel of the car practiced here will be applied in the next phase of training. The drive course is designed to represent the ultimate in driver and vehicle cornering capability. Here is a typical layout on an unused airstrip with traffic cones to mark the course. Numbered signs help students judge correct speeds for various sections of the circuit. The rule for cornering is in slow, out fast, relatively speaking. For this demonstration, we'll use a Bel Air with 409 cubic inch engine, high-speed rear end, and the police back. The springs, shock absorbers, wheels, and police special tires are all heavy duty, and metallic brake linings are provided for maximum braking capability. The car is equipped with 4-speed stick shift. The technique of downshifting will be discussed later in this film. Again, every operation will be conducted at absolute maximum. Bear in mind, this type of driving is not used in pursuit, but in training to teach the limitations. As before, a combination of steering and power is used to control the vehicle. Down the straightaway, power is applied for a small amount of wheel spin. Apply braking as the turn comes up. On the 90-degree bend, use what you learned on the skid pan. Steer right to start the slide, left to correct it. Apply enough power to hold the rear end where you want it. Slow motion photography will help analyze the action. At this point, the driver is steered correctly into the corner. The rear wheels have broken loose, and the weight of the car has shifted to the outside of the curve. Now, using the front wheels as a pivot, the right amount of power takes the vehicle around the curve. Going deeper into the turn before braking will increase speeds to just within the limits of possibility. As the weight of the car shifts to the outside of the curve, power is needed to help bring the rear end back into line. So is prompt action on the steering wheel. Watch these expert runs. Now, slow motion. Over-braking will destroy the traction of the tires on the road and will aggravate any out-of-control condition. In this run, smoother control is maintained by earlier throttle application to maintain a smooth slide. The next runs are at the top limits of performance. The maximum performance 180-degree turn is an extension of the technique for cornering. Constant steering is needed to keep the car in the turn. The principles of maximum performance in pursuit driving are not hard to understand. Most students progress rapidly once they've learned the importance of smooth, positive handling of the controls. This student knows how to enter the curve at the correct speed with the right amount of steering to start the rear end around. But watch this. What did you do wrong? Mister, you were too little and too late on the throttle. Let's try again. Remember to come in slow, break the rear wheels loose, correct to keep the rear end from sliding out too far. Be ready and willing to use plenty of throttle to control the slide. Come out fast. Let's analyze some fast 180-degree turns, good and bad. Here at the weight shift, throttle application is too late and too much. Here is a maximum run well executed. This is not a maximum run, but is a smooth pursuit operation. Now let's take up downshift. This stick shift is a 4-speed synchro mesh transmission. In line with the general rule for cornering, in slow, out fast, downshifting lets us use engine drag to assist braking going into the corner and puts us in the right gear for maximum power and control going out. In pursuit driving, a special downshift technique is used. At each downshift, vehicle speed must be slowed to avoid over-revving the engine as the next lower gear is met. Let's watch it, a step at a time. The brake pedal is operated by the toe of the right foot. The left foot disengages the clutch. The right heel flips the throttle the right amount to match engine speed and gear speed for a smooth transition. Here's the procedure under actual driving conditions. It is especially important to handle blowouts safely at pursuit speeds. Without warning to the driver, this tire will be exploded with a dynamite cap. The driver increases power if necessary and steers to counteract side pull. As he gains control, his left foot starts a gentle braking action. As brake pressure is increased, the throttle is gradually eased up. At full braking force, short of locking the wheels, the throttle will be completely closed. With the left foot, continue pumping the brake. The right foot is ready at all times to apply throttle if needed to keep control. At low speed, the right foot can take over the braking job. This training program has proved that maximum performance driving is a skill that can be put into practice with safety. In pursuit driving, it's more important to drive well than to drive fast. Drivers who, through training, have learned to sense and understand the absolute limits of vehicle performance and of their own capabilities